It's a dramatic day in Indian politics, or is dramatic an understatement? Indian opposition leader Rahul Gandhi has been expelled from the country's parliament. Rahul Gandhi was, not too long ago, the president of the Congress party. He is the son of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi and the grandson of India's second Prime Minister and the first woman Prime Minister of the country, Indira Gandhi. Also the great-grandson of India's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru. Rahul Gandhi is 52 years old and has been expelled from the Indian Parliament because of conviction in terms of defamation, because he called all people with the surname Modi thieves. Is this politics or just law catching up with the Gandhi scion? Or is it a little bit of both? On Gravitas tonight, we get you unbiased and comprehensive coverage of the day's biggest story from India. We also tell you about the law in such cases in other democracies around the world. Do they also have similar grounds that allow a sitting member of the parliament to be disqualified overnight? Because you see, what's happened in India has been at warp speed. It was, after all, just yesterday that a lower court in the Indian state of Gujarat sentenced Rahul Gandhi to 2 years in prison. Time to answer the obvious question, why? Well, the story begins in 2019. In the lead-up to the Lok Sabha elections, Rahul Gandhi was addressing a rally in the state of Karnataka, where he wondered out loud, how come all thieves have Modi as the common surname? The reference was to fugitive Indian jeweler Nirav Modi and former chief of Indian Premier League Lalit Modi. And the jibe was at India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And the comment did not go down too well with the Bharatiya Janata Party. A BJP lawmaker moved court accusing Gandhi of defaming the entire Modi community. The court ruled in favor of the former. And a day later, Rahul Gandhi was disqualified from the parliament. This notification was published by the Lok Sabha Secretariat. It reads, and I'm quoting, Rahul Gandhi, member of Lok Sabha representing the Wayanad parliamentary constituency of Kerala, stands disqualified from the membership of Lok Sabha from the date of his conviction, that is the 23rd of March 2023, in terms of the provisions of Article 1021E of the Constitution of India. Read with Section 8 of the Representation of the People Act 1951. And this notification was put out at 11 a.m. Protests broke out soon after. Now, there are important questions that cannot be allowed to drown in this cacophony of chaos. Question number one being, was Gandhi's expulsion a political move? And the answer is, Rahul Gandhi was expelled on constitutional grounds. It was not the decision of a particular party or the government. Let me just give you some context here. You see, defamation alone is not a ground for disqualification from the Indian Parliament. What is a ground, though, is the 2-year jail term. Section 8.3 of the Representation of the People Act of 1951 clearly says that a member of the Indian Parliament is disqualified if he or she is quote-unquote convicted of any offence and sentenced to imprisonment for not less than 2 years. And like I mentioned, Rahul Gandhi has been handed a 2-year jail term. Question number two is something a lot of people in India and outside are asking. Could the Lok Sabha Secretariat not have waited for Rahul Gandhi to appeal? Perhaps a higher court could have ruled against the conviction. Probably it may still. But the Constitution of India does not have a provision allowing the luxury of time. Section 8(3) of the Representation of the People's Act 1951 says that a member of parliament gets disqualified the moment he is convicted of an offence. Let me just read out the provision for you. A person convicted of any offence and sentenced to imprisonment for not less than 2 years shall be disqualified from the date of such conviction and shall continue to be disqualified for a further period of 6 years since his release. But what the Indian law does allow is a reversal of the disqualification. That is, if a higher court grants a stay on the conviction or decides the appeal in favor of the convicted lawmaker. In short, all is not over for the Gandhi scion. And here's something else. It may be a bit much to assume that the law has been selectively applied to Rahul Gandhi because he belongs to the Congress party. An MP from Lakshadweep was disqualified. This was after he was convicted in an attempt to murder case. This MP was not a member of the Indian National Congress. In 2019, a member of parliament from Rampur, Uttar Pradesh was disqualified. He was convicted of hate speech. This former lawmaker's name is Azam Khan, and he too is not a member of the Congress. One of the most widely covered parliament disqualifications has been that of Lalu Prasad Yadav, the Rashtriya Janata Dal chief. He was expelled from the Lok Sabha in 2013 following his conviction in the fodder scam. And despite the precedent, many in the Congress party are calling this day a black day for the Indian democracy. Which, by the way, brings me to my next question. Does democracy allow you to call names or accuse a particular community of theft without proof? Well, the answer depends on whom you ask. We put the questions to both sides of the discourse. Listen in to what a spokesperson of the Congress had to say.
First of all, it is not in the culture of the Congress to critique or speak against or defame any community whatsoever. Our central doctrine is, in fact, social justice. So we fight for social justice and equality. Of course, we are not satisfied at all. It is a very disturbing judgment. There are many points to challenge as far as that judgment is concerned. This does not mean that we do not respect the judiciary, but we'll certainly challenge this judgment on many accounts and take that forward.
Well, that's the Congress's side of the story, one that the Bharatiya Janata Party clearly does not subscribe to. Listen in.
You allege. How do you allege? You allege if you have proof. Here you have no proof at all because this is the most honest prime minister with the most transparent, accountable government ever. Now, when it comes to serious defamation cases, obviously the courts will take cognizance of it. Obviously, the people of India that have voted Prime Minister Modi in will take it very seriously because this is a question of the credibility of the office of the Prime Minister. That is not of the BJP. That is of the people of India.
We'll play out those reactions in just a bit. You see, what happened in India as well happens in most democracies where the law does not allow a person convicted of a crime by the country's court to remain in the parliament. Some 20 lawmakers have been expelled from the US Congress till date. A lawmaker charged with crime is usually expelled following a vote, but in more cases, those facing criminal charges resign when they are convicted. And some of the latest examples being Chris Collins and Duncan Hunter from the Trump era. In the UK, if a lawmaker is sentenced to prison, he or she is expelled from the parliament. Same with Turkey. If you are convicted of a crime by a court, chances are you will be kicked out because around the world, parliaments are under immense pressure to keep their image clean, to keep the house free of the convicted lawmaker, whether a Gandhi or not. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.